Harl. How are you guys doing tonight? That's good. You guys ever notice that some of the nursery rhymes you used to listen to as a kid are really pretty dark, right? Like there was this song that my grandma used to sing, and I just realized that it's about cuckolding. You know what I mean? It goes, someone's in the kitchen vagina, someone's in her vagina that I know, someone that I know is in her vagina, and I just gotta go, no! That's how it goes, right? Sometimes people have words that bother them, right? Like, not just cussing and racial slurs and, like, I don't know, languages that you're too lazy to learn, right? But, like, sometimes it's perfectly ordinary words, right? Like, I think moist was the popular one. Like, I don't know, everyone kept saying they were upset about the word moist. I don't know if I believe it at this point, right? I think it's a bit of a fad. Right? Like, I mean, granted, it's pretty silly, but, I don't know, I think it's some kind of, like, reverse hipstering, right? Like, I wasn't the first one to like this band. But I'm sure as hell going to be the first one to make this word go out of the contemporary canon of the modern dialectic of vernacular, right? I don't know, like, I myself don't hate the word moist, but I remember considering hating it when I was making the rounds, right? But I have my own word that I hate, and that's the word yummy, right? I don't know why, right? There's really no rational reason to hate the word yummy the way I do. Like, I don't know, there are other words in that word group that have a more obvious disdainful connotation, right? Like, I don't know, like owie, for example. Like, ow is already an abbreviation of the word ouch, right? They should just say that instead of adding another syllable to it and sounding really stupid with owie, right? But I mean, yummy is different. It's like the adjective form of yum, right? Pretty redundant, but not enough to merit such hatred on its own merit, right? But then I realized that when you really hate something intensely, they say that it's because you see more of yourself in it than you realize. And I realized the word, my name, William, has an I-M at the end that's pronounced yum, right? And maybe we're not so different after all, right? But the more I think about it, the more I hope that, you know, we are similar, right? I wouldn't want to not be yummy, right? I hope I'm not antithetical, right? Oh, what a fickle plane that we should disdain the gaining of our own fortitudes. Someone told me that the only thing people should hate is hate. And I don't know, I don't agree. I think that, I don't think that's how you fight hate, right? I think you should be ambivalent to hate and transcend it in other ways, right? Like, I don't know, take someone who hates in a traditional sense. How do you think they started hating, right? What do you think they hated first? Was it onions, right? I don't think so. I think everyone that hates started out hating hate and then discovered that's an endless battle and then, you know, goes around with this calloused veneer of what they swear is counter-hatred, right? But sometimes not hating things isn't enough to not cause any pain, right? Like me, for example, when I was little, I hated onions, but I grew to love them. But if someone told me that in my life alone I was responsible for the death of millions of onions, right, I wouldn't find that statistic surprising in the least, right? Sometimes it's love that causes the most damage. We've all got our own quirks that we're figuring out, right? Like, guys, some people, like, I don't know, like, I'm just discovering that, like, if I do something subconsciously, like I don't deliberate to do it, and somebody else notices it and calls me out on it, like, they're not wrong, right? It is something that I did. And, like, similarly, if something happens metaphysically but not physically, it's still something that happened, right? Like, the other day, I found $100 in some dirty pants. It was awesome. I put them in my wallet. And then I, you know, I needed the money, so I was like, oh, shit, was that... I should check my wallet. Was that just a dream? And it turns out that my wallet was empty. It was just a dream. But it still happened, right? It wasn't a delusion. And, I don't know. They say that if you cancel out your senses for a few minutes, even if you don't fall asleep, that you just start hallucinating. So I don't know. Maybe reality is the default state of perception, even if you know, pine for its, you know, unregistered absence at times. But, like... I don't know, sometimes you'll see like a severe mental patient who looks like they're going through something really difficult or like convulsing violently, right? But they've got like an intense laugh and they're like an unattributable smile to it, right? And I mean, just because what you see is a severe mental patient, that doesn't mean that in his reality he's not like a, you know, Fortune 500 CEO on the beach at his summer home in the Canary Islands as he's being rubbed down by hordes of adoring women, right? It's all a matter of perspective. Hey, I'm Will, that's my time. You guys have a good one, right?
Will Najera, everybody, hey. On deck, we have